I think many people overthink that smart rockets are super useless and they just skip on to the Hydra Rockets and also the Zuni Rockets. Now, I have tested out the smart rockets and at first I kind of do say that at first I thought that they were useless, but that's only because I wasn't really used to the aiming reticle on the attack heli on the pilot. However, now I think as more I got into a bit of testing, or the more I got into the practice of trying the aiming reticle on the attack heli, I started to use Hydra Rockets a bit more often, but that's not really the main focus. But the main focus is why smart rockets are useful. So, yeah. So without further ado, I will discuss smart rockets, because I think people really should give it a try. Even if you actually like Zuni rockets or Hydra rockets, you should still give them a try. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so smart rockets are known as direct attack guided rockets. That's what dagger means. So I noticed I think when this thing when the smart rockets first launched, they used to have a higher rate of fire, like roughly almost the same as Hydra rockets, but not as fast, but significantly faster than Zuni rockets. However, I think DICE secretly patched the smart rockets rate of fire and make it roughly the same as the Zuni rocket. I'm not sure what the rate of fire is, but you'll notice here that the smart rockets are effective enough at taking out any helis. So as you will notice here, and they are what smart rockets are actually best at doing is they're best at long range. So this can be very useful for taking out like stuff like AA and stuff if they don't know where you are, assuming they're not using air radar. But yeah. And I think people do use smart rockets like incorrectly. And pretty much how I do it is I actually just retrieve and go to home base. And also I kind of forgot to mention on this clip here, I actually use heat seekers. Just simply because of the fact that I'm not a really good person with that use tow missiles, because using tow missiles, they're really, like, when you hit them, it's by luck. Other than that, like, they're really hard to use, but, so I just went on to use heat seekers, and as you can see here, they're really good at handling, jets, simply because they could sometimes use their 20 mils or using their AA missiles at you. So I tend to kind of defend myself and use heat seekers against jets. Now I also use heat seekers against other helis to make it significantly a bit easier to hit them that way. A good thing on my gunner actually, my teammate actually killed them, but yeah. So I do use heat seekers. I recommend using heat seekers with smart rockets because it's probably the best combination. The reason is just because the fact that even though the smart rockets, I'm not sure because I haven't tested out the smart rockets when they first came out, but a lot of people have been they probably just pass on smart rockets just simply because the fact that it has terrible tracking, but with that faster fire rate. But I think DICE actually secretly changed the smart rockets, which I don't think anybody noticed, of how they actually got like a just like fixed or something. So now I have been consistently like hitting ground vehicles, and it's kind of hard to say like how the tracking works and like where the rockets are going. As long as you're aiming at your target, most likely those rocket pods, they will eventually hit your target. And I mean, the thing with smart rockets is that you don't want to strafe with them. You have to play defensively, because I did notice that like a lot of people, they actually think that, oh, this is like another type of rocket pods. They think it's like your Hydra Rockets or Zuni Rockets, to where you can strafe. No, that's not the case with smart rockets. You have to play in a defensive role, kind of to where you kind of have to camp. I want to say like you kind of have to fly high and try like spot targets that way, and then cut and rain down your rocket pods that way. And then whenever someone tries to lock onto you, then you could just simply retrieve and just repeat the process. Now, you may see a different clips here. I kind of tend to use like either stealth coding or air radar. I most likely use air radar in case of any jets. Any jets tend to actually try attacking me that way, so that's why I had air radar. Or sometimes if I'm consistently getting or constantly getting locked on, then I just switch on to stealth coding. And you may notice in this clip here, I actually tend to use ECM a bit, and especially those stinger users, they tend to lock on, and it gives them a bit more time. It just takes too long for them to lock on or for them to fire. But yeah, I mean, the smart rockets are not bad by all means. I wouldn't say they're better than Hydra Rockets or Zuni Rockets. Don't get me wrong. I would take Hydra Rockets or Zuni Rockets all day, but I kind of actually mainly use smart rockets to kind of if any AA are actually using active radar missiles or anything like that, if they're camping or something like that, I tend to do is like I kind of do flank and then fly high and just hover high and just kind of attack the AA from a different angle, assuming once again they're not using air radar. But and I also do this against other tanks too. So yeah, smart rockets can be very effective, and I think people really should give them a try. Now, I think for loadout wise, what I would say was the best loadout for smart rockets, like I said, heat seekers are probably recommended unless you are a good pilot that or if you're a good person that uses tow missiles. Well, if you're good at using tow missiles, in other words. Other than that, heat seekers recommend to punish other aircraft, or especially jets, that tend to lock onto you. And I also use ECM, definitely. There's no question that. And for upgrades, I also tend to use either air radar or stealth coding. So I already discussed why. Air radar, just to see where other jets are, and well, or other aircraft there is, and any jets or anything like that. and stuff coding, as you can see there, for dealing with those increased lock-on times. So, unfortunately, we didn't win here, but I really think that people should give the Smart Rockets a try. But yeah, that's that for this video, and yeah, see you next time.